found out about 20 minutes ago that we have in our presence somebody who I would think, well, I don't think, I know, deserves a lot of respect. I don't know how many of you people know this particular individual, but he is a 29-year veteran from the Air Force. He retired as a brigadier general, and the rest of it I can't read, so he's going to have to tell you himself. But his name is Bernard Skoch, and he's here today, and I'd just like for him to say a couple of words because he spent 29 years defending this country.
And Lori said it exactly right. I did not come here prepared to talk, but I'm always happy to talk. The question is whether you're going to be happy to listen. I wonder how many of you know what $3.6 trillion is.
Oh.
That is our new federal budget that's been proposed by our new chief executive. I'll talk louder. Our chief executive has proposed a federal budget of $3.6 trillion.
No.
Now I wonder if you know how much money that is, other than it's a lot of money. If you were to lay dollar bills end to end at the rate of 3.6 trillion, that line of dollar bills would go from here to the sun, back to the earth, back to the sun, and back again. My friends, we can't afford this. I wonder how many of you are familiar, and being the people you are, I suspect you are, with the preamble to the Constitution. And that preamble says that the Congress of the United States will provide for the common defense, but promote the general welfare. I don't think the Founding Fathers chose those words arbitrarily.
No.
There's a difference between providing something and promoting something, and our government has gotten in the business of providing for the common welfare. We cannot do this. Now, I can't do any better than what has been said already, but let me offer a couple of perspectives from someone who has seen a few things in the world. I will never forget visiting with a friend of mine who came from the country of Thailand, at the time that Thailand was a very poor country, and I suspect it's about to come another one. And I said, what most impresses you about the United States? I asked him a couple of questions. That was one. And he said, the lights. And I said, what do you mean the lights? He said, well, in my country, other than in the capital city, at night all the lights are off because we don't have electricity. I said, what do you want to take home from the United States when you return there? And my friend said, I want to take back a CD boombox because that will be the most precious thing in my country, in the part of the country that I live in. And then he said, what I really want to do, though, is take back the plans for plumbing so that we can put water into our cities. Now, friends, we have grown up with these things. We have grown accustomed to these things. But let me offer to you that the reason we have had these things isn't because we're not socialist enough.
That's right.
Why is it that the United States of America has earned more Nobel Prizes than any country in the history of the world, and we're barely over 200 years old? Why is it that the standard of education for those that are willing to pursue education and willing to work for education in the United States is as high as it is anywhere? It isn't because we're not socialist enough. You've heard a great dissertation on our medical system a few minutes ago. And let me offer that it is the best in the world for those that work. I was driving through Dallas on my way back from a meeting in San Antonio earlier this week, and I happened to turn on the radio. And I happened to hear that the school system in Dallas County, several of the school districts, now have minimum score requirements. That does not mean what you think it means. What it means is that no child in one school district can be given any grade lower than a 70 on anything they submit. Now, is that what made America great? I don't think so. Now, there are a lot of ways for us to fail, and there's one way for us to succeed as we walk away from here today. One way to fail is to fail to unite. We've heard a couple of allusions to it here, but let me offer it more directly. We need to get rid of the people that are in Washington, D.C. by the Constitution. We need to have a federal budget that is responsible fiscally and that does not saddle my grandchildren with $40,000 debt when they are born. We need to unite. We need to pick principal leaders. We need to pick people who are conversant in the issues of the day. And we need to get down on our knees and pray to whatever God it is that we pray to and ask for divine inspiration to lead us out of where we are today. And let me close with this notion. This is not about Barack Obama. This is not about our senators from Arkansas. And I'll give you a vignette. I write my senators a lot. Very often the replies that I get, I'm convinced that some staffer hit the F6 key when he or she meant to hit the F4 key because it's got nothing to do with what I wrote. Do you know? And this is not about Blanche Lincoln, but let me offer an interesting statistic. She has a 61% liberal index. That means she votes pro-abortion, she votes pro-big spending, she votes pro-big labor, and she does all these things. And one would think that somewhere in there is a nugget where she is representing the citizens of Arkansas. Well, I know the citizens of Arkansas, and we are not 61% liberal. But this isn't about her. This isn't about the fact that she raised $800,000 earlier this year in her first fundraiser for her re-election campaign, and her keynote speaker was none other than our Vice President Joe Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, that does not represent the values of the citizens of Arkansas. We need people who do. We need people who answer the mail. And we do not have those people in office today. I am appalled at the money situation in D.C. I'm more appalled by the process, which is what this is about. Do you know that at the height of the Soviet Union, at the height of the Cold War, the re-election rate to the Politburo of the Soviet Union, and you know that was a one-party country, may it rest in peace. It was a one-party country, and do you know that the re-election rate to the Politburo was lower than the re-election rate to the United States House of Representatives? Friends, the process is broken, and the only way to take it back is for us to take it back. Commit to do it today. Go tell 10 friends to join us in what we're trying to do, and let's get the job done. Thank you very much.